Hello, Education 200, Education 581. Hope you're having a great holiday break. It's Dr. Allen. I'm coming to you actually on Thanksgiving evening. I've already had all the turkey, all the mashed potatoes, and I want to get this video done because I wanted to get it up hopefully a little early this weekend to give everyone a little more time if you need it. If you happen to notice it, you'll get the email and such. Kind of talking to you like you've seen all this stuff, but you won't know this until I put the video out. But anyway, the reason I'm saying all this is you may notice the lighting in here gets a little weird. It's already dark outside. I'm pointing out at my office window. Uh, I have all my lights on, but it goes in and out. As long as you can hear me, I think I'm pretty comfortable with like going ahead and recording. I don't think anyone needs to see this. Although I have a little bit of a Batman, if you know, is it Two-Face? It looks like I'm dark, like the night is on one side and the light is on the other. Bizarre. Anyway, I'm babbling. Let's go ahead and jump in. You can tell it's the end of the semester. By the way, this will be the last video, so you won't have to suffer through this anymore. Um, Actually, I kind of enjoyed doing them, but anyway, this week, most of this video is going to be about what's due and the breakdown of the assignments and such. But I am going to take about the first 5 to 10 minutes to talk about Howard Gardner. It won't take long because he's going to be someone you're going to get again in 320 in greater detail. But I like to bring him up because he is an important, like, foundational thing I think in modern education. Um, Also, I said this was the last video. That's because basically the week that we're going to come back starts on the 29th. Finals week is the following week. I have a final. I'm going to have it open up. Probably, I'll restate this again, but I'll probably have it open by this coming Wednesday, I think, which is December 1st, and give everyone a week to get it done. It's not overly long, but everything for this class will have to be in by the 8th, so I have time to grade it and get your grades actually calculated. So, but I'll talk about all that here in a few minutes. I'm going to go ahead and jump into Gardner just really quick. This PowerPoint is kind of detailed. It is up if you want to check it out. But it's nothing. I'm just going to kind of hit the highlights of it just so you know what's going on. And it is something you can do with Padlet if you find it interesting. And I'll explain that here in a few minutes. All right. Howard Gardner. He works in the psych department at Harvard University, and he is very much associated with the world of education because he comes up with something called multiple intelligence. And multiple intelligence is basically the idea that there's different types of intelligence between all of us. We all have different, I hate to say skill sets, but just different ways that we think and such. IQs are kind of meaningless. I don't want to say meaningless, but it's a dated concept. All of us might function well in a different type of learning environment, or our intelligence may be higher in a different field. So when we would do this in a class, if we were live, I would ask you to name all these people. Um, there's Bill Clinton, there's Einstein, there's Michael Jordan, Sacagawea, Helen Keller, Beethoven, Yoda. And what I would want you to get out of this is all these people kind of have a different, well, one, they're all intelligent people, obviously, or were intelligent people. Two, they all had kind of gifts that they're associated with. Beethoven is, of course, music. Einstein is usually associated with the word of science and math. Michael Jordan was sports. They're all geniuses. They're just geniuses in different ways. And that's kind of an overview of multiple intelligence. What Gardner comes up with is instead of just being one type of intelligence, there's actually 8. He's added a few. There's some debate about whether there should be others, but by and large, there's a foundational 8. I have a ninth on there that some people debate on this PowerPoint. But this is traditionally a Nearpod. Obviously, I'm not going to ask you to go through and do this, but the concept is everyone has a form of intelligence. We're all brilliant. It's just we have different ways of showing it. Um, and we all kind of connect with that. And that's one thing that Gardner started to pinpoint is, and by the way, you might not just be one of these intelligence, you might be multiple ones. So, and again, he wrote a book called Frames of Mind, The Theory of Multiple Intelligence. I put 9 on here because the bottom one is one that's debated, the spiritual, kind of thing. But I'm not going to get into that too much. But these are the 9 intelligence, or the 8, that Gardner kind of came up with. Linguistic, good with words. Logical, mathematical, good with numbers, seeing things and such, the way things might be slotted into categories and all. Spatial, that's usually associated with art, the bodily, kinesthetic movement. That's sports, usually associated. Musical, I think, is self-explanatory. Interpersonal, you're good communicating with people. You might talk a lot. You might go with the crowd and kind of just blend right in and start going at it. Intrapersonal, um, that's the one where, maybe you're, by the way, I don't want to say wallflower. That's not the right way to make about it, but maybe you work better on your own type thing. And the naturalistic, that's sometimes associated with science. Maybe it's like learning outside or you function better in an outdoor environment. It's usually associated with science and things. These are all things. And the reason that I think this is important for education, and it is important for education, when you start doing your lesson planning, you've got to think about how you need to have aspects of this in all your lessons. I'm not saying you need to have a lesson that has all 8 or 9 of these in it at one time, but throughout the year, you should try to address different styles of learning. And that's what Gardner was kind of getting into. We all learn different ways. I'll show you a few, but for example, this PowerPoint, I made it, Lord of the Rings and Hobbit and all that stuff was going out there. And I do enjoy Lord of the Rings. One person that might be a linguistic learner would be J.R.R. Tolkien. He developed Lord of the Rings. He actually developed a whole language in that, elves, orcs, all that type of stuff, if you're into that. He's a word player. He's a wordsmith. This is things that, if you were going to teach, you would do things like, memorization games, class discussion, presenting materials. You're good with words, whether it's writing or talking. So these are wordsmiths, so to speak. The logical learner, that would be someone like Einstein. You're skilled with numbers and reasoning. You might question things. You might record information systematically. You may play strategy games. You might ask logical questions. You may set up experiments like what ifs. That's that logical learner. Again, different type of learning. Different types of students will probably thrive on this type of thing. Whoops. The spatial learner, that's someone that's good with pictures and images. I actually think I kind of fall into this a lot of times. I'm a very visual type person. You might incorporate, when I taught social studies, I caught myself, sometimes I think I overdid it. You might do pictures, artwork, watching videos, making predictions, things like that. That's kind of a spatial learner. There's some, actually, when we do this, these are some images that I used in my class. When I taught social studies. The bodily, the movement. This is someone that, like when you're doing lessons, and I guess I shouldn't I need to take a step back when I'm talking about this. When I'm talking about incorporating these into your lessons, I'm not saying you have to go in and put a basketball game into your lesson. You might put, if you were doing spatial, you might put some form of artwork that might associate with the lesson. Or you might do something where you're doing review games and there's movement. That's what we're talking about with like the multiple intelligence. Even field trips, you're going to museums. You may have students actually do something where they're working with a tangible object where they have to move and feel and control something. That's the kinesthetic, that's the bodily type multiple intelligence. It's not just saying, okay, class, we're going to learn about equations today. Let's go shoot some hoops. That's not what I'm saying. You want to do something where maybe you're getting them up, moving around. Maybe they're doing station work or something like that. Whoops. Music, I think that's self-explanatory, but there's different ways. You might do a lesson where students construct songs. You may have students listen to music while you're doing lessons. You might repeat things in almost a sing-songy way, especially in elementary. That's a very standard type thing to do. You may change the tempo of how you present. That's the musical learner. Interpersonal, these are people who socialize, group work. Presentations would also, I think, fall into this. Interviewing people, doing cooperative projects, studying in groups. That's, something that you can do in your lesson plannings that'll incorporate these skills. Intrapersonal, that might be working alone, the individual, maybe someone doing journals, setting their own pace as far as when they do activities. Maybe if you're doing group work and someone asks if they can work alone, allowing them to do that. Relating personal experiences, what students usually love to do. And this is all interpersonal stuff. I've had someone one time ask me, can you be intrapersonal and interpersonal, intra and interpersonal? And I would say, yeah, I think you can. I think we all have aspects of that where sometimes we like working in groups and other times we don't. We like to do our own thing. The naturalistic learner, that's making connections to elements of nature, the outdoors type thing. You might do something where you study outside. I've seen lots of classes go out and do things, or if you're doing art, you might draw images out there. You might, check out plants, bring in pets. You might have an animal in the classroom, seeing, smelling, touching things, observing natural phenomenon, having plants in the classroom. That's all. That's, again, making that connection, maybe going out and walking and checking out the grounds and, making observations. Plus, you're kind of nailing the movement aspect there too. That's basically the 8. And I know I said I was going to go through them quick, but that is multiple intelligence. This is posted up on the study guide too. And I'm going to come back to Gardner because I think some of you may want to actually check this out with Padlet, but I'll see. I put one on here, and I mentioned those are the 8. There is some people that debates like there's an 8. After the 8, there's some sub ones like a 9 and a 10 and such. One is a spiritual learner. This is someone who questions or tries to get a little more philosophical on how they look things. I guess the deep thinker. I always liked Yoda. I thought Yoda was a good example of that. They like debating issues, being provided choices. This one has never been given official designation by Gardner, though. I should point that out. It's actually the top 8. It's that one basically from linguistics to natural. That's multiple intelligence. I just wanted to touch base. It was something that, I think it's kind of interesting, and I wish we had a little more time to get into it. But it's also something I know that they talk about in 320, at least they usually do. So I didn't want to get too down that road either with it. With that being said, okay, here's what we're going to do. All right. That is Howard Gardner. And I want to go back. Let's see if I can do this. All right. A few things. That was Howard Gardner. We got some stuff that you need to finish up between the 29th and the 8th. One is your 10 hours in the field. I tried to be as flexible as I can. That was a lot of you were tutoring. Some people were doing fairs. Some people went to Boys and Girls Club. Some people have already done their hours, completed it, written their essays. That's awesome. Some people still have to finish up hours and get their essays in. That's fine. Everything's cool. But after the 8th, with the hours, especially the hours and the essay, if you don't have these in by the 8th, I'll probably have to give you an I for the semester. Don't worry, it's just an incomplete. It's nothing bad. Once you get them done, I can go back in and change the grade. Actually, there's no problems about it. For this class, you have to have 10 hours. They count towards your 125 before you student teach. So I have to verify those. So you have to submit a timesheet signed by somebody that knows that you did the hours. Listen, I don't go back, and I'm not going to go back and like track people down or anything like that, but it does need to be signed or verified, whether on the form or even an email that they said so-and-so did the hours, and you attach it to the timesheet, and when you submit it, that's fine. I went ahead and put those on here. For some reason, I put essay from the field on there twice, which was dumb. Let me go back in here. I'm going to go ahead and fix that right now. Must have got a little crazy there. Timesheet. That should have been timesheet, not. Let me get one of these off here. Topic, and that should fix that. There we go. Timesheet. You can submit your timesheet on here. That is all you need to do. And like I say, just as long as it's signed, you can take a picture of the timesheet, put it on there, fine. That's awesome. You can scan it, send it, that's fine. Just make sure that you've submitted it and then it's signed or verified by someone. The other thing that you have to do for your field requirements is just a reactionary paper. It's just your thoughts. Please do not make this any more complicated than it needs to be. It should be about 3 pages. Don't go over 5. Double space, 12-inch font, 1-inch margin, just a reaction. And basically, you just need to analyze your experience in relation to, it says there's a space there for economics. Sorry, when it comes over from Sakai, it sometimes does funky things, I've noticed. I know it says Job Corps. Job Corps was not open because of the pandemic. If you tutored, that's fine. I just want to know, like, what were the things that you learned about yourself and with students? And by the way, you can be painfully honest. You can be like, man, I learned that, communicating to certain age groups is a little trickier, or I need to do this than with other age groups. Or, you know what, I learned that I thought I would like approaching or teaching or tutoring like this, but I found this worked better. That's all. It's nothing complex. Did you have goals for yourself? What did you want to get out of it? And just submit. I will say this, and it should be up, and if not, I'll attach it here. Actually, you know what? I'll do it right now. This isn't a deep paper, and it's not really a research paper, but you should start to get in the habit of using what's called APA format. APA format is basically the American Psychological Association, and it's the writing style that education majors should use. Actually, you're supposed to use. You can use EasyBib. Listen, I'm not tracking anyone down. If you do have to cite anything, EasyBib has an APA formatting type thing. Also, I'm going to put Purdue OWL on here if you really need to. I don't think with the reactionary paper, there really should be that much that you need to do with APA. It's just the setup. It's just the setup of the bibliography itself, which I don't even think you're going to have to cite anything in your paper unless you want to, at least from the essay from the field. But let me go ahead and put this on here. Create a link. I'll put it there. APA format if needed. I don't think you're going to need it though. But this is all due by the 9th. A lot of you have already by the 8th, and a lot of you have already done this. That's fine. That's awesome. Actually, I'm going to try to get to everything, especially next week. But I'm grinding through. So timesheets, essay, and the one that some people have asked me about, the Padlet. And if you look, I got a couple things on there. There's a Padlet tutorial if you need it. I don't know if anyone's used Padlet. It's very, very, very easy. But Padlet is a site where you kind of create things. It's almost like I'm having a little bit of brain freeze here. It's almost like a bulletin board that you would throw things up on, but electronically. I'm sure you've seen them if you've done Nearpod or things like that. Let me just go to Padlet real quick, and I'll show you. Okay. This is Padlet. I've used it before. You will have to create an account. Don't worry. It does not cost anything. It's free. And once you get in there, you'll get to this. You'll have something called Make a Padlet. Let me just show you what it looks like, though. I want you to pick a topic in education. It can be educational history. It can be a philosophy. So Gardner, for example. Say you did Gardner. You could pick and do the different intelligences, and you could put an example of, this is linguistic learning. This is someone doing linguistic learning because they're doing this. This is someone doing kinesthetic type learning or movement because they're doing this. Boom, boom, boom. You could do Piaget and the stages. I would like 10 different things on here, and I'll show you how to do it in a moment. But as you can see, this was a timeline I did. So let me go back. Once you create your account, and if you have problems, just email me. Create an account. You hit Make a Padlet, and there's different ways, different formats. You can do a timeline. You can do a map. It doesn't matter. I would just say do a wall if you're just doing random things. When you get on here, you'll pick a background. We'll do, you know what? I'll just do Gardner because it's on my mind. Gardner description, Ed 200. One wallpaper. Sorry, I'm not going to do Christmas. Bricks. That's as least. I'll keep working. It's about as least Christmas as you can get, isn't it? All right. Okay. Sorry, my face is there. All right. Next. All right. Start posting. All right. As you can see here, let me put myself back here. I have a brick wall. I'm going to hit this, and I'm going to say. Actually, let's do this. Spatial. And make sure I spelled that right. Did not. Fix that. And I might say, no, I don't want to take a picture of myself. No one wants that. You can post different things on here. Hold on, I was looking for. Oh, here we go. Let's look for an image. Spatial learning. Let's say artwork, and I would say, all right, we'll just do this. I'm kind of doing this a little on the fly, but I think you'll get the point. I would say this is an example of spatial learning. In European history. Boom. And then I'll move my face. I'll publish. Boom, it's there. What I want you to do, I'm going to jump back here. Once you create your Padlet and you start doing this, you're going to send me the link, but you can pick anything for education. I just want you to put 10 things up related to a topic. I'm not even really going to be judging like how you do it. Some people, there's a timeline. I don't know if anyone saw it. You could do a timeline of the history of education, like maybe all public schools. You could pick something from the taking sides. Like I know some people are interested in the standards or the things related to, oh, there was one topic that I thought was really everyone just like knocked out of the park. You could do anything on Dewey if you wanted to do something like a timeline on Dewey's life, as long as it's 10 things. Just you could do something on Piaget, and you could do the stages of cognitive development and just put 10 different examples of them. I don't care, as long as it's an educational topic. I want you to put 10 related things around a theme on this Padlet. That's it. So I would do Gardner, and you can do Gardner. I have no problems with that. And I would just put 10 things related to it. I might say spatial learning. That's it. Nothing more, nothing less. If you want to check with me on a topic, that's fine. If you want to do, let me go back. Sorry, hiccup. I did just eat Thanksgiving dinner. I'm catching myself. I brought a water. Let me take a drink. There's a timeline. If you would rather do a timeline, you can actually go through. Yeah, that's fine. We'll just keep all that. I'm not going to get too cute. Start posting. You could just do, if you want to do a timeline, you could do, I'm again making these dates up a little bit. 1852, Dewey born. Now I would put an image there, but you could put that there, and then you could do another one. 1885. Dewey starts at Vermont School. And then you can post. And I'd put an image there, but that's it. You could just do 10 things. Again, however you want to do it. This is part of the reason I'm making you do this, and you may end up strangling me by the end. I think one of the most important things you can be as a teacher is creative. So you need to kind of think about some ways that you might generate or what topics you would want to talk about with this. I'm giving you the broad stroke. Anything that's in this class, it can be from week 1 clear to now. It could be the history of something. If you want to just do the history of education, you can do that. It's fine in the United States. If you want to do, like I say, Piaget, you want to do Vygotsky and do things related to him and just put some interesting facts up, that's fine. If you have questions, that's no problem. Once you are done doing your Padlet, you just hit share and you can send me the link and just post that on Brightspace. I will warn you, because I know someone's going to probably ask me this. Brightspace is going to make you submit. You're probably going to have to post it on a Word doc and then submit the link on a Word doc, because for some reason you can't directly submit the link. I don't know why. It's something we've run into with EdTech, but simple as that. Again, you will have to create an account. Just create a free one. I don't want you paying for any money or anything like that. But that's Padlet. Simple as that. And if you do those things, that should be, let me go back. Oh no, I reached my limit. Did you see that money? That's because I did 5. You can't do more than 5. Like for example, I'm going to go ahead in here and delete that one. So I still have my free ones. And then I have to put a code in. Sorry. You're going to wait while I do this. And I'm going to delete that one. And it's actually a pretty cool thing. And some of you have probably seen it in schools. I think some teachers are using it now. Actually, I know some teachers are using it. So just something to kind of mix it up. And you can get as funky and fun with this as you want. But the main thing is I just went 10, and you don't have to wait. It's just literally like a bulletin board, 10 things about a topic. Boom, 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 boom. Send me the link. And like I say, just register for it. The link is there. I'm going to jump out here and go back in the long way. And go ahead and jump back in there. And I think we're just about it. Padlet. Oh, the final. That's the other thing I need to talk about. So Padlet, straightforward. Essay from the field, 10 hours. You will notice the final is not here. I have the final pretty much made. I'm going to go ahead and probably get it posted. I think I put on here, I'll have it by Wednesday, so you have 1 week to complete. I don't want to open it too early. It does need to be done by midnight. Well, let me rephrase that. 11:59 p.m. on the 8th. It is all multiple choice, and this hopefully will make your day. It is not a long final. It is literally, I think it's 25 questions. It's 2 points each. Each thing, if you look at the syllabus, it should be 50 points each. Let me double check. It's a long semester. Sometimes I forget things too. Yep, 50 points. There you go. 100 point total. So each question is worth 2 points. If you were paying attention to your email, you should have already gotten this, but I already posted it on the announcement page also. Let me go to course home. There is a study guide that already went out, and it is right there. If you need it, it's there if you didn't check your email, but everything you need. Obviously, it's an online class. It's asynchronous. I can't stop you from using resources. So, resource away. It's not, these are the things that I feel like, at least some of the bigger concepts I'd like you to know. Like Piaget established the stages of cognitive development. Vygotsky's zone of proximal development. Those are just big concepts. And when you hit the 320, I'd like you to at least be like, hey, Dr. Allen at least did mention this, and I'd be pretty happy. Dewey wrote Experience in Education. Boom, father of modern education. If you all remember those type of things, it's a good deal. Thumbs up. Bloom's taxonomy. By the way, that's a really good one that you could also do for the Padlet. You could do different examples of each one of those. Or the development of Bloom's, or you could do different things within Bloom's and just put them on there. But I digress. You're welcome to use this. It's 25 questions. It's not supposed to be a final. I know you got a Padlet. You got your hours to finish up. It's just something to kind of wrap everything up. With that being said, I think those are the assignments that you have. So let me go. And 581, I haven't forgot you. There's one other one for you all. Sorry, you're a graduate class. That's the breaks. Padlet for 200. If you haven't already done it, your essay in the field. Submit your timesheet. Final will be here. That is Education 200. For Education 581 are graduate students doing this. This is not for 200. And I got one thing to say after this, so please you can skip me if you're in 200 up to the end, but I just want to make sure 581 is on the same page with me on one thing. You also have a paper. You have to do a research paper in this class. I know I sent some stuff out earlier to you all related to it, just to make sure. Again, that is something else I'll do on that same date. I'll extend the date on there. I think I even emailed you all a reminder about it. But your research paper, up there it is. I'll change that date. Actually, let me just go ahead and do it now so I don't forget. Boom. Okay. If you need any of the materials, they should be right there. If you need the research paper stuff, it is also APA, and I think that's actually all in there. Yeah, there's APA citation guide. It's just a theorist paper, basic things, but if you need me to pull it up real quick just to make sure we're on the same page with that. 5 to 7 pages, double spaced, get the font. You need 5 sources. And that, my friends, should be everything. Again, the research paper, this one is the theorist paper is only for 581, our graduate students, not Education 200. So I'm going to run through everything really quickly one last time, and then I'm going to wrap everything up. Sorry, I just want to make sure we're all copacetic. 1, if you were in 581, you have a research paper. Some of you have already submitted that also. Awesome. 200, you do not need to worry about that top research paper. 581 and 200, you have 10 hours that you need to finish in the field. Again, some of you have to do that, and some of you have. I'm going to put 10 hours time sheet. Essay from the field needs completed, 3 pages, double space. It's just a reflection. That's basically it. Don't go over 5. 3 is fine. And yes, as long as it's just getting into that 3 page. I mean, don't do like 1 sentence on 3, but a little bit of meat, that's fine. The Padlet, you can go ahead and start getting that done in the final. And also remember, this isn't all due. It's all due. You have a week and a half to do this. This is not, well, actually, some of it hopefully is already done from the field and the research papers and stuff like that. Theoretically, some of you may just have the Padlet and the final to do. But other than that, that's it. I do want to say one thing to everyone. Thank you all very much for your patience with this. This was an asynchronous class. This is something that's not always done because the pandemic, they wanted us to do one, and doubly thanks. I know with Brightspace, it was a learning curve for me also. I tried to stay up on top of it, but there were hiccups here and there, and I appreciate anyone that would email me and say, hey, there's a date wrong or anything like that. Some things came over from Sakai that looked a little funky or needed fixed, or I didn't catch a date that needed changed or things like that. So thank you all very much. It's actually been fun. I've run into a lot of you. It's nice. I've actually gotten to meet a lot of you just from campus is starting to come back to life. So that's been fantastic. And also, I am also on campus all the time. If you have any problems with any of this or any questions, feel free to stop by my office, 101C in Canute, or just fire me an email. We'll take care of it. But other than that, that should be it. Take your time with all this. Everyone's been doing a great job all semester. It's Thanksgiving night. I'm filming this. I've been trying to get through the grading. Hopefully everything as far as discussion boards and such should all be up to date by the time we hit Monday. I'll probably send out an email Monday or Tuesday just telling everyone to double check that I have everything posted as far as your discussion boards like Dewey and the flip grids and even Edpuzzle just in case I missed something back then. And I think, keep throwing my hands up, I think that is it. Hope everyone's had a great holiday. I'm going to hit the stop button. Thanks again for all the patience. And again, if you have any questions, stop by and see me. All that's great. Hope to see everyone soon. I probably will talk to a lot of you in Education 380 down the road. And if you have any issues, don't forget to contact me anytime. And one other thing, please, 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 please don't forget to do your Praxis test. That's coming up. If you haven't done Praxis 1, that's something that a lot of you might want to start thinking about because you need to have that done by the time you get to Education 320. Well, you need to have it done at the completion of that. So, and that should do it. Have a great holiday and see you all hopefully. And again, contact if you have any questions. I'm babbling now. So, bye. I'm going to stop share and I'm going to stop record.